it might surprise you to hear that Marx considers the bourgeois to be a revolutionary class, right? And yet he insists that there is a kind of teleology of history, that history moves in a certain direction, and that the bourgeois epoch inaugurates the freedoms that we have and we know today, right? But he knows that the kind of bourgeois freedoms associated with democratic capitalism, they are constrained by a necessary tension. And this is what Marx is going to come back to again and again in the 18th Brumaire of Louis Bonaparte. This question of when does this tension break? When does the tension between the freedom to accumulate, the freedom to exploit, the freedom to be an imperial power, to be an imperial class, when does that freedom start to collide with the bourgeois freedoms, the freedoms of press, of assembly, of association, of education, even of suffrage, right? And, we're in this moment now where I think a lot of political commentators are sort of asking, what's next for Trump, right? First of all, who is supporting him? Secondly, how did he amass this power? And this is where Marx says it doesn't need to be a genius. It doesn't even need to be somebody who is politically savvy. What Marx says about the character of Louis Bonaparte is that, in a sense, he is a historical buffoon. He plays the part of an imperial overlord. He is not necessarily himself one. That's what Marx means with his famous comment that history appears twice, as it were. The first time tragedy, the second time as farce, right? I think we need to ask now, on an election day, right, what is the sort of future of American capitalist democracy? What's the role that the different classes, finance capitalists, industrial capitalists, the middle class, the grand bourgeoisie, the petite bourgeoisie, what's the role they're going to play in supporting Trump? And remember, the story of Bonaparte is that he is elected first. He then seizes power in France in 1850. He returns it to a monarchy. He then rules France for 25, 30 years in that capacity.